Welcome to the Webflow CMS tutorial for beginners. In this video, I'm going to show you everything from A to Z on how the Webflow CMS works. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to create things like blogs, videos, your team in Webflow. You're going to be able to learn how to create lead magnets that are hosted on CMS pages so that it's really easy to add new resources to your site. We're also going to show you how to create landing pages using the CMS so that you can easily create new pages without having to jump into the designer. My name is Michael, and if you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more content like this. We post nearly every single day. And I'm also the founder of an agency that offers unlimited Webflow development. So if you're a company looking for support with Webflow, there'll be a link in the description where you can schedule a strategy call. Well, without any further ado, let's get right into this tutorial. Okay, so this is the Webflow project we are going to be working in. If you like this and you want to work out of this yourself, there will be a link in the description to where you can clone this completely for free yourself. And we are going to start by creating a blog. So I already have a page set up. It's called blog. And it's a pretty simple page. We just have a title that says blog, and then we have a blog grid here, and then a little bit more page elements. However, these tiles, these are just static. They don't link to anything. This is just the layout we're going to use to create our blog. So the first step to creating a blog is you need to go over in the upper left-hand corner under CMS. This is where all of your CMS collections will go, and this is where we are going to create our blog collection. So we're going to click on the plus icon, and then right here we can start by naming our collection. So blog. We can change the URL if you want. Some people will do blog or they will do post, and you can see how the URL looks. So it would be website.com/post/blog page, but I'm just going to stick with blog. And then here is where we can create all of our fields. So this is all of the fields that you're going to want to create for your individual blog post. First thing that we're going to want is our rich text. So this will just be blog body text. This is where you'll actually write to your blog post. And you can add some help text here. So this is where we'll write the blog post. And you can see over here on the right hand side, this is how our custom fields will show. And as I'm typing here, you can see this is where the help text is going. So it kind of helps describe what a field is about. This is really helpful, especially if you're building this for your team to use and you're not going to necessarily be using it all the time. This is really helpful. We can enter a minimum character count or maximum character count. Usually we just leave these blank, but we are going to make this field required. Click save. Now the next field we're going to want to add is an image. This will be our main image. Usually we do just one image, but if you wanted to optimize your site for a little bit more speed, you can have main image, and then you can have a thumbnail image. And the reason for this is when you're on the blog index page that is showing all of your blog posts, if you use a smaller image size for the thumbnail image, it won't cause that page to load as slow because you can just export your thumbnail image at a lower resolution, and on a little thumbnail you won't notice the difference, but it'll also speed up your site. But then when you click on a blog post to read it and you see the big image, then that will switch to the main image so that it is a lot more clear. So we're going to go to add a new field, and I'm just going to quickly go over these really quickly. So we have plain text, we have rich text. Rich text is where you can add things like links, images, and all of that. And then we have images. We have multi-images, which means we can create like a light box. We rarely use these for blog posts. Then we have a video link. If you wanted to have a specific place for a video, we have a general link, email, phone, basic number field, date and time. Sometimes we may use a date and time for the blog post. By default, when you click publish on a new post, in the Webflow CMS, it will include the date created and the date published. But if you say you wanted to have an override date, so you wanted to make it appear that it was published on a certain date. Sometimes we will have an override date. There's a switch. We can do a lot of cool things with switches when we get into filtering and sorting, which I'll get here shortly. We have color, options, files, reference, and multi-reference fields, which these are blurred out for now, or grayed out, but we are going to be using this in just a few minutes. So to start, I'm going to add actually a switch field. So this is going to be hide from blog, or we'll just do hide from site. And then this will say, when toggled on, this will hide the post from the website. Click save. And that is pretty much all I need for now. I'm going to click on create collection. We're going to click save changes. And then now we're in our blog CMS collection. And you can see this blue button here. I can create a new blog. Before we do that, I want to go back into here to create a new collection. We created this blog collection manually, but you can see there are a lot of collection templates up here. If you click on blog posts, it will automatically name it, it will create a slug, and it will add some custom fields for you. So it usually adds the post body, post summary, main image, thumbnail image, featured, and color. But we're just going to exit out. That actually, though, showed me one thing we need to add. We need to add a plain text field, make it a multi-line, and this is going to be called post summary. This is a summary of the blog post that will show on the blog index page. We're going to click save. And then we can also drag these to reorder it. So I'm going to drag it up near the top, and then I'm going to click save. All right, so now we have our collection built. Now it's time to add in content. So when you go to add in content, you can add in your own content, or if you want some just sample content in there so you can design, we can click on this generate sample items. We can say how many items we want. I will do 5 items, and then we'll describe the items we're creating. This is optional. I've actually never tried this. This is part of Webflow's AI products, but I'm just going to give this a go right now. So we're going to say helpful articles on task management, since this is a task management template for like a SaaS company. All right, click on create. We'll have to wait a little bit. Okay, after about 60 seconds, that process is done. You can see we have 10 example blog posts in here. And since I asked to create task management posts, we have relevant titles right here. If we click into this, it fills in all of our fields for us. So it filled in our name, automatically created a slug. It filled in the post summary, a basic blog post, then it included a main image and a thumbnail image, but it did not turn these toggles on. I'm actually going to check if any of the toggles are on because I want them off. So how I can check how a specific field is set without going into each individual blog post is over here on this pin. Just simply click that and we can choose what we want to pin here and what we don't. So I'm going to take off the post summary. I'm going to take off these dates, and then I'm going to toggle on hide from site. So you can see the toggle is set to no on all of them, and that's exactly how I want it. So we are going to get out of our collection view, and we're going to go back to our blog page. So in order to add a blog grid, or not a blog grid, a collection, in order to insert our blog posts on this page dynamically, I'm going to first hide this section right here. And then within our container, we're going to go to the add panel. We're going to scroll down, and under CMS, there is this collection list. We're simply going to add this into our container. And then we're going to double click to select our source. Right now we have just one source, and that is blogs. And now you can see it populated all of our blog posts. We can see the titles here. It's just that these are empty divs, basically. So we now have to do some design work to make this show up well. So I'm going to turn this collection. First, before we do this, I want to walk you through what these elements look like in the navigator. So when we drop in a collection list wrapper, there are a few elements. So we have our collection list wrapper that wraps our entire blog. If we open this, we then have the collection list. So when we go to turn this into a grid, we're going to style the list. We have a whole nother video around 30 minutes long on how to work with grids in Webflow. There'll be a link to that in the description below. And then if we open up collection list, we have collection item. And even though we have 10 blog posts, we only have one item. That's because Webflow, all we have to do is style this one item, and Webflow will automatically populate all 10 items with whatever we style in here. And then the last thing is we have our empty state. So if you are doing some things like filtering or sorting, and there are no items in the collection, then it will default to the empty state, and we can put anything in here that you want. For example, we have a client where they use the Webflow CMS for courses, and they didn't want someone to be able to enter in some filters and then it showed no items found. Instead, they wanted it to work so that when someone filters their courses and no courses are found, the empty state will actually show coming soon courses. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with this. For the collection list wrapper, we never really style this element. This just wraps all of the items in there. We usually just style the collection list and the collection item and then the empty state. So I'm going to do this really easily since I already have this design built out. I'm just going to copy this. So our grid, here's our class for the grid. I'm just going to take that class and apply it to our collection list by pasting it in. And then for the collection items, I'm just going to copy one of these cards. I'm going to click the collection item and I'm just going to paste it. All right, now I'm going to delete this old grid, and you can see we automatically added 10 different items. But we're going to style this a bit more, so I'm going to just add another combo class blog so that it doesn't affect my design elsewhere on the site. I'm going to turn this into a grid, a 3-wide grid, and then on tablet, we're going to go down to a 2-column grid, and then on mobile portrait, we're going to do a 1-column grid. So there, right out of the box, our grid is mobile responsive. And now we can start connecting these fields. So currently, if I were to go into preview mode, try to click on to read these blogs, it wouldn't work. And they all just say title, so it's not that user-friendly. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect these fields. So we're going to start with the image. We can either do this by clicking on the setting wheel right here, or we can go over to the settings panel. This is usually where I work out of. And then anything with a purple dot is a field where we can connect it dynamically. So for example, the image, I'm going to click on that and it will say connect to data. So I'm going to select our main image. And you can see it populated the images for all of our blog posts. I'm going to do the same thing with the title. I'm going to connect it to name. That's the name of our title, our blog post. And then for these descriptions, I'm going to go to the text and I'm going to connect it to the post summary. And then for the button, I'm going to click this purple page icon. And then under page, I'm going to select current blog. Now, if we go back and into preview mode, all of these blogs are now custom. It's pulling in the data from the CMS. And if I click on read more, it will take me to that blog page. Right now it's empty because we didn't build that page, but it is working perfectly. So now that the blog has been created, if we go over to our pages, you can see under CMS collection pages, it automatically created us a blogs template. First, before I go there, I'm just going to copy the page layout. We're going to go to the blogs template, and this is where we can design our blog post, and we only have to design it once, and this template page will be used for all of our blog posts. So I'm just going to paste in that page, the basic page layout. I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to also delete the subtitle. So for the heading, I'm going to click on the setting icon, collect the text to the name of the blog. Now we have our blog title. And then under container large, I'm going to quickly change this to container medium. And then within this, I'm going to add rich text. And then I'm going to add a quick class that's going to style this. And then under content, we simply select that purple dot, and there's blog body text. We're going to select that. And now that pulls in the content of our blog. One thing we are missing here is our image. So I'm just going to quickly add that. All you have to do is grab an image, drop it in there. I'm going to call this blog image. We're going to make this full width. And then we are going to set the aspect ratio to widescreen. And then we're going to set the fit to cover. Now we're going to select this purple dot, and we're going to select the main image. And there we go. For this heading, I'm going to actually wrap it in a div. And then I'm just going to call this blog title wrapper. I'm going to add auto margin on each side to center it. And then I'm going to make the width 100% and the max width 50 rems. Now if we go into preview mode, we now have a fully functional blog. The design could be improved a little bit. I'm just moving fast here. So if we go back to our blog page and we select one of these blogs, you can see it is now working perfectly. Okay, so now we are going to level up our blog a little bit by adding in authors. This is how we can track which author created which blog post, and also we can showcase to the reader which author wrote the blog post. So we're going to go back to our CMS collections. We are going to create a new collection, and this time we are going to use the authors template. Now this is where you want to stop and think through how you want your site to be structured. If all you're going to have is a blog, then authors make sense. But if you're going to create a lot of different content on your website, if you're going to produce videos, blog posts, free resources, and you want to have authors for all of those, you might want to think about renaming authors to something like team members or staff or something like that, because the goal here for this collection is we want to tie all of our resources into one collection called authors, or whatever you want to name it. For blog posts, that makes sense. But if you're doing lots of types of content, you might not call them authors. You might want to call them team members. So if I'm actually going to do team members, and then it's going to create us a name, a slug, a bio summary, a picture, email, Twitter profile link, Facebook profile link. You can use as many of these as you want, or just get rid of them. I'm just going to keep them all for now. And then we're going to create a collection. So I'm going to create myself really quickly. And then I'm going to add a quick photo. Just going to drag and drop it over into the photo portion. And then I'm going to click create. And then when you click create, you will have a few options. You can save as a draft. This will not be live on the site. You can publish, if your site was already published, you can publish it directly to the live site, or we can queue to publish, which that's what I'm going to do right now. And then we're going to go back. And in order to connect the team members CMS to the blogs, we just got to go back to the blogs, select the settings icon, We're going to go add a new field. And here is where we have our reference and our multi-reference fields. These were previously grayed out, but now that we have multiple collections, we can now connect the two. So the only difference between these two is a reference field can only reference one CMS item from another CMS collection. A multi-reference field means we can select multiple CMS items from another collection, but since we only want to have one team member assigned to one piece of content, we're simply going to do a reference field. You would use a multi-reference field for something like tags or things like that you want to use to connect various types of content together and you want to add multiple tags. But for now, we're going to do reference field. We're going to call this team member. And we're going to select our team members collection. Click save, and then we're going to save the collection. Now, if I go into one of our blog posts, you can see down at the bottom, it says team member. If I open this up, we have me that I just created. We're going to select that, click on save, and then we're going to go back out to our blog. And we want to show the author of the person who wrote these blogs. So I will do that right under the title. So we're going to add in a div. We're just going to call this team wrapper. Within the div, we're going to add an image. We're going to click the purple dot, and now our data looks a little bit different. We have our blogs data, but now we have a thing that we can open for our team member data. This is where we can access the picture of the team member that was assigned to this specific CMS item. So we're going to select the photo. We're just going to call this team photo. We're going to make it 2 rems wide, 2 rems high. And then for the radius, we are going to do 100%. And then we don't know the aspect ratio that people might upload for their photos, so we want to make sure our ratio is set to 1 by 1, and then our fit is set to cover. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of a border here, so we're going to add blue border, about 2 pixels, and we're actually going to make this a bit larger. And then within our div, we're going to add a text field. We're going to connect this to the team member name. And then we're just going to set this team wrapper to flex and add in a 0.5 rem gap. There we go. So there we have our team member who wrote this article. Now you can see on our other blog posts, there's kind of this gap. It's because these elements are still there. They just don't have any content. So it creates a weird design flaw. So what we're going to do is this is how we are going to filter this out. So you want to select your div, the team member wrapper. We're going to go to settings, and then we're going to go to conditional visibility. If we click plus, we want to make this element, so we want to set a rule for when this element should show and when it shouldn't show. So element is visible when the team member is set. So this element will only show if a team member has been set for this specific piece of content. I'm going to click save, and you can see the spaces went away for all of our other articles because it's temporarily hiding that section. If I were to go back to our blogs and add me as a team member to one of these other articles, and then go back to the site, you can see I show up there as well. So we want to copy this team wrapper, and we want to go to our blogs template, and then right here, I'm going to duplicate this real quick. Or right under this, we want to add in team wrapper. It's hidden right now because we don't have it on that blog post. There we go. There we go. And then for here, I'm going to do is blog post. Just going to add a combo class so I can change the style, put it in the center. And now it will show the author for the blog on the blog page itself. Now, one thing I want to go over about the new team member collection list that we created is it also created us a team members template page, but I don't want to build this page out right now. I just want to use team members to do what we just did, show who created that specific piece of content, but I don't want to necessarily create a dedicated page for the team members. So in order for these pages to not show up on Google, we want to go to our page settings for the team members template. And then if we go up to the top under publish settings, right now this publish this collection template page is turned on. We just want to turn that off. That means it will not publish these pages. And also we want to set some SEO settings for our blogs template. So right now this is our title tag and meta description. We want to make sure these are optimized for SEO. So under our title tag, we want to add a field and we want to add the name of our blog post. And then I will just do the name of the website, task management website. And then for our meta description, you can have custom title tags and meta description fields in your blog post, but we are just going to reuse the post summary. And then down on our open graph settings, we want to select use same as SEO title tag and same as meta description. And then on our open graph image, we want to select our main image. So now when we share one of our articles to social media, so for example, LinkedIn or X, it will show us a title, a brief description, and it will show the image of the blog post. Now all we have to do is click save, and then we're going to click publish. Okay, so now that is over, before we move on to some really cool things we can build with the CMS, I want to quickly go over sorting and filtering with you. So if we go back to our blog page and click on our collection list, if we go to settings, we have filters and sorting. So sorting is pretty simple. We want to make sure we're sorting these by the date they were published on. So we want them to show up as newest to oldest. If we click that, it won't, you didn't see it reorder the articles just because these were all created on the same day. But then we have filters. We can do really cool things with filters. So for example, say we wanted to filter out articles that I was the team member of. All we would have to do is click on name, click on team member, and then if the team member equals Michael Groff, we're going to click save, and it will only show those. But we want it to hide mine. So if it does not equal Michael Groff, then we'll show it. And you can see my articles are now out of the grid. So that is really cool ways where you can add filters. And we actually added that toggle to our blog collection for this specific reason. So if we go back to our blog, we have this toggle down at the bottom, hide from site. So we're going to turn that on. And we're going to do another one. Turn that on. And we're going to do one more. So these three articles, we want to hide from the site for whatever purpose. So if I click on our collection list, go to filters, we want to hide from site, and we want this to be off. So now you can see there are 3 articles missing because we only want articles to show that has that toggle turned off. If the toggle is turned off, hide from site, we don't want it to show up in the grid. And this is how you can create really cool logic and filters for how your CMS items show up on the site. Okay, so now I'm going to go over with you some really cool ways we can leverage the CMS to make our workflow a lot easier when it comes to publishing content on our website. So we already went over blog posts. You can use that same method for creating collections for all of these other items as well. So we're going to use our website as an example. And on our website, under resources, we have these downloads. So here is one. This is our Webflow SEO playbook. If we go under more resources, it is the exact same thing as a blog. We're just doing it for resources instead. So you can see we have a grid here of a few resources. Our most popular one is Webflow Mistakes 101. There's actually a description to both of these in the description. There's a link to both of these in the description if you want to check them out. But we're going to click Webflow Mistakes 101. And then here we have the page for the resource. So you can see we have a subtitle, we have a title, we have a brief description, and then we have bullet points. And then if we click Get Report, I forgot, this is a custom code thing, so we have to do this on the live site. But if we click on Get Report, it will show a pop-up with a form. And what's cool about this is this form is not a Webflow form. This is a form by our CRM. We use Go High Level, and we needed a way to embed a form in CMS collections. So I'm going to show you how we did that. So if we go back to our website, we go up to CMS collections. We want to go to our resources, click on the settings icon, and you can see we have our form embed code. Now you'll see here that all this is it is a piece of rich text. That's it. Because if we go to add a new field, there is no option for embed code. So there is not like a little embed code block. We actually have to use rich text. If I click out of this, go to resources, and then go on our Webflow Mistakes 101, you can see we have our form embed code, and here we have an embed block. How we did that is if you click on a new line in your rich text, click on the plus icon, scroll down, we can add HTML content or HTML embeds. Click on that, and this pops up a window where we can paste in our embed code. So if I open this up, you can see this is the embed code for our form. And then how we did this on the page is, if I open this up, find our modal, turn it into flex, we have a modal that pops up. And when you want to include the form embed, all you have to do is insert a rich text element, exactly like we did with our blog. And then we're going to connect it to our form embed code. And then now it will automatically insert that embed code. So that is how you can do this for resources. It's really cool. It enables us to manage our resources really easily and seamlessly. We don't have to design new pages for this or anything. The next thing I'm going to go over is how to use the CMS to create new landing pages. So this is our home page. It's a custom design. It's not a template page, but if we go to services and go to one of our services and then scroll down, this page is actually a template page. So if we scroll back up, go to another resource, another service, it is the exact same layout, just different types of content. And then if we go to another service, just like before, it is the exact same layout, just different types of content. And you'll see this all over. So if I go to, let's go to ClickUp. So if we go to ClickUp's main website, go under products, tasks, you can see if we go to another page, it is practically like the exact same. It's just different content. So they are using the exact same strategy on their website. Most SaaS companies actually do this. Let's go to, what's another one? Let's go to Webflow. So if we go to platform, design, and then we go to platform, edit mode, it is the exact same page layout, just different pieces of content. So this is a strategy you can use to drastically increase your speed at creating new pages. How we did this is if we go to our collection list and then we go down to services and then go under one of our services, we just have a field for every piece of content. So we have our subtitle, we have a sort number. So if you use a number field in the collection list, you can add a sort to sort by smallest number to largest number. This is how we sort which services show up first in the nav. And then we have our heading, our summary, our CTA text, our CTA links. We have our features. We have some descriptions. We got images, and all kinds of stuff. We even have tags so that we can interconnect this within we can connect it into like pieces of content. We can connect things together. And we also have CMS collections set up for our legal pages. Most companies actually don't do this, but it's a really easy way to manage your legal pages from a simple CMS collection. So we have our CMS collection set up for legal pages. This is where we have our privacy policy, our terms of service, and we can easily just come in here and update these or create new ones without having to create new pages. So that is the tutorial on how to use the Webflow CMS for complete beginners. If you have any questions, drop those in the comments below. Also, like I said earlier, if you are a company who is looking for ongoing help with Webflow, we offer unlimited Webflow development at a flat monthly rate so that you can complete your projects faster and on budget. If that sounds good to you, there will be a link in the description where you can book a strategy call with us, and we'll see if it makes sense for you.